All right. Dumbest thing Charlie has ever seen. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be one for the books, if I do say so myself.
I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've already confessed to this sin numerous times now, and I'll do it again in front of you and God. I use Twitter. Actively. I spend a decent chunk of time on Twitter. It's this beautiful cesspool that acts like a portal into the dimension of pure, unhinged lunacy, and I can't look away. It's like a curse that keeps drawing me back in. And you'd think that after spending so much time on Twitter, I'd seen all the stupidest shit the world had to offer from all of the dumbest people in this godforsaken dimension we live in. But you'd be wrong. Somehow there are still videos that shock me with the pure level of absolute insanity that's put on display. You may have heard this story already, or you may not have, but regardless, I'm gonna drag you kicking and screaming into the light and show you an imbecile that's so stupid they're a legitimate danger to the people around them. You remember Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddy? Yeah, he was a big fucking idiot, real silly,
I love Ed, Ed and Eddy.
He was a harmless moron. The goofy goober I'm about to show you nearly got a woman killed for no reason and left her with permanent injuries that will haunt her for the rest of her life.
Wait, what the fuck?
A Colorado officer pulled over and arrested a woman on suspicion of road rage, and she put the suspect in the back of her police vehicle. A police vehicle that was parked on fucking train tracks. Something that an actual child, a baby brain, would know not to do. In Mario Kart, no one would even park on the train tracks. Yet in the real life, a police officer parked their vehicle on train tracks, put the suspect in handcuffs in the back of the car, and then guess what happened?
Even fucking worse about this situation is that there is plenty of footage of the train coming in the background, because trains by federal law, by the way, are required to blare their horns, their sirens, anytime they come through an intersection that crosses a road, an active road. It's to make sure situations like this are basically not happening at all, ideally. So you can hear the train blaring its horn as it's approaching the intersection for a quarter mile. A lot of the video of the cops, dash cam and body cam, you can hear them kind of talking over it, ignoring it, or just not realizing it's happening or what it is. It's not really clear. But most of us who have been around a train fucking horn and been just reasonably close to one, no, they're like deafeningly loud, like hard to talk over, especially as they get close. Not to mention, it's a fairly straight piece of track that they're on, and really, unless there's a drastic turn, any track you're on, you can see a ways down. Ways down enough to where you can see a train barreling at you. This is really, like, honestly inexcusable, and like I can't remember if they were put on unpaid leave or leave. But they need to be. There needs to be an investigation, and just like it's federally illegal to even hang out and just like chill on train tracks, and that applies to police officers too. So as soon as the situation was handled on the train tracks, there should have been an immediate push from all officers to get all of this activity off of federal property and onto public property, the same way they do when they're on public roads. They're like, all right, let's get this off to a side road, or, you know, anything like that. They try and do the most responsible thing in terms of location, looking at that first and then addressing the legalities second.
Fucking train came and obliterated the car.
That's why we pull over on the shoulder and we don't just stop in the fucking lane when they pull us over. We don't just like, oh, you got me. You know, we get off the road.
With the suspect inside, it's a miracle she didn't die. Somehow she survived with very serious injuries, but this officer pulled off like a Looney Tunes
I couldn't believe she
level
survived. I remember watching that.
Like, parking your car on train tracks with a suspect inside, that's like something you do in Red Dead Redemption 2 as a way of like torturing someone, like tying them to the tracks or some shit. This honestly feels like an elaborate attempt at murdering the suspect. It's actually fucking wild. I'm going to show the video now. There's nothing graphic in the video, but it is still disturbing knowing that there's someone inside this vehicle that gets hit by the train. So just a fair warning there.
Is that Hart? No, that's
So you can hear the train. You can hear the train whistle immediately. It's loud as fuck, and they're having to talk over it. You can barely hear them.
Fair warning there.
Is that Hart? No, that's contract. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Officers noticed what was about to occur. The freight train colliding into a Platteville police cruiser parked on train tracks.
And what sucks too, that train was almost for certain breaking. As soon as the conductor noticed that there was something on the line, he almost for certain was braking. But with how heavy trains are and how fast they move, which is depending on where they're at, I think in the city it's only 20 to 40 miles an hour tops, if not 30. But they can get up 50, 60 miles an hour. And with all that weight, it takes them over a quarter of a mile to stop, which is why I was saying that quarter of a mile thing with the honking. It's a very specific distance that they have to abide by because it takes such a significant distance to actually stop this vehicle. And if there's a reason to, they need to know as soon as possible.
County Road 36.
Dispatch 12346, get us medical immersion. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
You'll never guess the outcome for the officer that did this. Paid administrative leave.
God damn it,
nearly
dude.
kill a woman by having them be hit by a train and then take a little paid vacation. It's crazy how this happens every single time like clockwork. It's a fucking joke. I'm not here to even really talk about that. I want to focus on this situation in particular. How the fuck can you make this kind of mistake? It almost feels like it's not a mistake. It really feels like this officer was just trying to kill this woman in a really creative way. If I'm being honest, I don't know what's scarier. This being a case of
yeah,
an
I mean, I
absolute
really
villain,
don't know
a
how you
psychopath
don't
just
hear the
trying to
train.
kill this suspect, or it being a case of her being so fucking dumb that she actually thought it was okay to park on train tracks. I really don't know which one's the scarier situation. Because if she's this stupid and somehow a police officer, how many others are this dumb
Horrifying.
and also police officers? Fucking terrifying. In the video, not only can you hear the train for a good like 8 to 10 seconds, you can hear it coming from miles away. It's a fucking train, but you can also even see the train in the background because of the goddamn lights. It's a fucking train. It's like one of the hardest things in the world to miss. Now, I know I've been singling out the protagonist here, the officer responsible for handcuffing the suspect.
Looks like there's two officers to me.
She parked on the train tracks, but it's not just her. Every officer at the scene is at fault.
Absolutely, yeah.
Single
every single one of them failed to not be like, there's a train, or we're on the train tracks right now. Like, every single one of them had the opportunity to identify that at several instances.
One of them used their brain for even a fraction of a second and rationalized that this is probably not good. You don't need to be a turbo nerd with perfect scores on your SAT, pass the bar, and solve the Millennium Math Prize problem in order to figure out that something's gone awry if your vehicle is parked on train tracks. It's a dangerous situation. Not one of them stopped for a second and just looked around like, these tracks. What are these peculiar markings?
What are these
They look
for?
man-made. I don't think these are naturally occurring Colorado dirt tracks. Huh. What uses tracks? Alright, trains. Oh my god! Like, how?
50-ton
how
trains!
Are the neurons not firing in this situation? Like, do they just have no survival instincts whatsoever? Obviously, they don't care about the suspect. No one really gave a spirited attempt to save their life or anything. But even
No
still,
shit.
they clearly didn't recognize the danger here, so I'm assuming they also could have just been hit by that train as well, because all of them failed to recognize the situation. This happened in the middle of the night. There is not a single other car around. There's not a single sign of life around. They could have parked those
Jesus
cars in any
Christ.
position for miles around that area and been safe. And somehow they chose the only position that was dangerous, on train tracks in the middle of fucking nowhere here. Like, this isn't a freak accident. This is gross stupidity on a level that is downright
it's
dangerous, and
negligence.
It almost cost a
Yeah,
woman her life. According to the report, the lady was kicking and screaming.
they arguably did cost her life because she is never going to live the same life she was able or going to be able to live ever. Like, she should be able to and needs to sue this police department for like gross negligence.
The lady was kicking and screaming and like frantically trying to get their attention to the oncoming train because
Jesus
obviously
Christ.
just panicking because she had her eyes open and could obviously recognize the imminent threat. Whereas apparently all of the officers, I believe it was 3 officers in total, somehow all of them went deaf at the same time, as well as got hit by like a flashbang and couldn't see the train somehow and just missed it and let it hit their car with the suspect inside. It's just crazy to me. Like, it is actually wild. But hey, at least they're investigating
Oh
themselves.
my God.
Those usually go well.
Yeah.
And turn up fucking nothing. But in this situation,
and no
I
one gets
don't see how
fired.
they could
And if anyone does have to leave the police station, they're probably just going to get relocated to another one a couple counties over, realistically.
possibly drum up any kind of explanation that excuses this. Like, this is just so fucking dumb. I can't possibly think of any kind of explanation. Like, you can't even blame the suspect here. Like, well, while the woman was in custody, her road rage took over again. The demon came out, and she started planting a railroad system underneath our car in order to divert a train onto...
It's actually a good point. That's probably why a lot of right-wing and conservatives have been real quiet about this one and haven't been talking about this one as much either, because there is absolutely no way to fault the criminal. There is no way the morally bankrupt person in this situation played any role in like the specific horrible thing that happened that shouldn't have happened here. They escalated this to like a really, really potentially physically dangerous situation just from like negligence.
The path of hitting our cruiser in order to blast herself out and free herself and escape. So this is her fault. Like, there's nothing and no one to blame except all of the officers at the scene here. They're all so fucking stupid. And I don't know how this investigation could prove anything otherwise. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit because this one got my blood boiling a bit. That's about it. See ya.
Understandable. See ya. Fucking wild. Fucking wild. It is insane what people can do with, you know, a little bit of privilege and a lot of bit of feeling superior to everyone around them. Hey, there's a train coming. Nah, don't fucking worry about that. What we're doing right now is way more important. You don't really understand what's going on right now. I'm a cop, trust me. And then you just let that person get hit by a fucking train. A completely avoidable situation. And not to mention, it gets handled the same way like the fucking Catholic Church handles, you know, priests molesting members of their church and children of their church. They just get relocated to another diocese, another precinct, you know, a couple counties over, or in a different section of the state, sometimes even a state over if they've gotten too much heat in this area. And it's all good. Like that Missouri cop who had a lot of threatening behavior and aggravated assault, stuff like that, who relocated to California and got in trouble again there, and then got like extradited back to Missouri. I can't remember his name. I'll throw up his picture right here, though. He's a giant piece of shit. But yeah, thanks again for watching, you guys. Those for you watching on YouTube. Fuck. Shit is fucked out here, man. Don't forget to follow me at Half Pint Streams and TikTok and Twitch to catch us live and see my best clips. And see you later, Warehouse. I'll catch you on the flippy flip.